joined with
Cody Kutzer.
That's
not mine.
Whoa! I'm Jacob Bittner.
And I'm Chris Swoboda with a crying child right now.
Yeah. What's up? Instead of remembering names, we just decided to introduce ourselves. So how's everyone doing? Welcome aboard. Happy to have everyone here. We got 4 people this week. So I figured this week we were going to jump right into this mock. So recap of last week, we started with a second round mock. So what we did with the second round mock, we just took DLF's top 12 ranked players. We took them off the board, and then we started from there. So we're going to build off last week's mock. I'll recap real quick. Hope everyone's got their pen and paper. We went Barkley, Geis, Chubb, Jones, DJ Moore, Rashad Penny, Sony Michel, Ridley, Sutton, Freeman, Kirk, Johnson. That's round 1. All right, round 2 started with Gallup. Then we had Miller, Gesicki, Washington, Pettis, Mayfield, Rosen, Jackson, Balaj, Traquan Smith, Goddard, and my last pick was Callaway. Let me know if I need to repeat any of those.
You said Rosen, right?
Yes. Yep. Rosen went right after Mayfield. All right, everybody ready for the order? Same order we introduced ourselves. It's going to be Cody, Jacob, Chris, and then I'll flip-flop to the end.
Okay.
All right. Once everybody's got the players crossed off, everybody good in that aspect?
I think so. I mean, this would have been so much easier if you would have given this to us ahead of time.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, you're right, but we do things difficult.
You know what I call that? Hindsight bias, Jacob. That's what I call that. All right. Let's get started. Cody, you're up first with the magical 301.
You didn't say Lamar Jackson, did you?
Yes. Yep. Lamar Jackson's one of the QBs off the board.
Well, give me
panic pick. What you got?
I'll go Mark Andrews.
All right. I like it. I like taking the second tight end on the team first.
You mean the better one?
Yes, exactly. The better one. The 4th round one.
Okay.
All right, Jacob, you're up.
I'm gonna go ahead and take Nyheim Hines.
Okay, I like it.
And I think it's going to be that'll be an interesting spot with the Indianapolis backs. That backfield's probably going to be really, really muddy.
Oh yeah.
That offense is going to be terrible. Andrew Luck might never play football again. So we'll see what happens there.
Similar skill sets too, though, right? I mean,
but
you
pretty
much go back and forth between Mack and Hines because
for sure,
it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, you're up.
He's still muted. He's talking to us though.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Oh, there you go.
That's a pick for you.
No, I'm sorry. It's Jamon Moore, the first wide receiver taken by Green Bay in the draft. Obviously, you got the tie to Aaron Rodgers and the wide receiver 3 spots wide open. So.
Oh yeah, we'll be talking about that later. Because I've got quarterbacks.
You've got a quarterback.
Unfortunately, I'm going to go with Hayden Hurst. They drafted him for Flacco. He's already older, so I think I'll get a good first year out of him, and then I'll be able to flip him. So I'm not too mad at it. Back to the top.
Go Kiki Cootie.
Okay. I like it.
Like him in that offense. Coming back with quarterback. Feel like he can take Braxton Miller isn't a thing. He's no threat. So I'll go Cootie here.
Okay, so I'm going to take DJ Chark And I want to talk about him. It's interesting. I don't know why. Man, I really wish I was better at remembering who said all the things that I read on Twitter.
Dude, me too.
Somebody
all the
said
time.
Whenever you can get a receiver in a fantasy draft at or below his actual NFL draft pedigree, that's almost a no-brainer. And you're looking at DJ Chark, a second round NFL pick, I believe, who ran like a 4.3 4.40 and is going to an offense that just lost like 130 some targets from last season. So it's I think the fantasy community as a whole is sleeping on DJ Chark, to be honest. I just picked him up in an auction for really, really cheap too, like mid-third round value. And I think he's a steal at that price.
So who's he better than on the team? Just raffle off the wide receivers that he's better in, because it's just a jumbled mess. I mean, I feel like they're all similar skill set. They're all similar talent. So.
I think that I'm not sure that I think he's going to be one of the fastest deep threat options right away. I mean,
okay.
But really, I think I just go to draft capital. I mean, he's got the highest draft capital on that team now, I believe. Marquise Lee. Marquise Lee, maybe. Lee. Is he still around?
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah, he got the contract that they thought Allen Robinson would get.
So I think Lee. I'm a draft capital guy, and I think that I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities due to that alone. And whether or not there's a huge talent gap there, we'll find out. I guess I know he's going to be a great deep option, and I like fast guys that have high draft capital. So.
I mean, he'll probably be a boom bust option in a not very good passing offense. He might be the wide receiver one, but how many 2 or 3 wide receiver sets they're going to run? Not very many. They'll probably run Fournette to the ground until he falls apart. I don't think they would run Bortles. I don't think they would let him throw if they didn't have to.
I would say I'm not a big Dede guy, so
no, Dede sucks.
Maybe he's going to. But Keelan Cole, even though he doesn't have the draft capital, he really did help that team a lot. So I think he gets the wide receiver 2 spot, and then Marquise Lee is going to get wide receiver 1 because he just made all that money. So,
well, I mean, and then Moncrief got $10 million. We just keep naming off guys.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot he existed.
They added 15 wide receivers this offseason. It's just a mess.
Right.
I don't want any of them. But in any event, I'm sorry. Moving on.
I'm going to take Deshaun Hamilton.
Hey, you don't skip me.
Oh, you're up?
Don't you skip me.
Don't you take my pick.
I'm not going to take Deshaun.
All right,
I'm actually going to slide here with another running back, Jordan Wilkins.
Okay, cool.
I wanted to talk about him a little bit because he had recently gotten the Evan Silva bump. Mm-hmm. Evan Silva on his Fantasy Feast pod with Ross Tucker was going through his Dynasty rookie rankings and gave Jordan Wilkins the 15th overall spot in his rookie rankings, which is right around the early second round. Do I think he's worth that? Absolutely not. But ever since that happened, he has jumped up in what I assume will be rookie ADP if we look at rookie ADP in the coming months. And I've even seen him go at 2.9 and 2.10 in separate drafts since that happened. So getting him at 307 here in the next couple weeks to months will feel like a value, I feel like. And if you already do own him, you could already make that immediate profit, which is the fun part, because he hasn't even played yet, and you can sell him for more than you got him for. So after me, it's Adam, but I'm not sure if he's still there, to be honest with you.
You still hear me?
All right. Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, you're good.
You just don't see my beautiful face. Well, with my voice, I'm going to select Deshaun Hamilton, and I think that he'll probably be actually the early producer of the two between Sutton and Hamilton. Hamilton's still the more valuable. He's got the draft capital, but I think Deshaun Hamilton's going to jump into that slot pretty quick, and that's going to keep Emmanuel Sanders out of the slot a little bit more. But then we'll see what they do with Sutton. So it's not guaranteed, but this part in the third, if I can get who I think will be the quickest producer on that offense, yeah, I'm all about that.
And he may start even if it takes a year. It may just be next year.
Yeah, true.
So you feel comfortable with Hamilton over Henderson?
Yeah, I do. I've actually had that discussion a lot. Why draft him if the team was comfortable with Henderson? It was pretty much my point. I stashed him just about everywhere, but it doesn't make much sense to me now.
It's what we call hindsight bias.
Yes, exactly. More hindsight bias.
All right, Cody. With you.
Go, Doris Fountain. I feel like that's T.Y. Hilton and then what?
Crap.
Right. Like, so if we're gonna keep the draft capital going here, he was taken over Kane, so I'll go Fountain here.
Okay.
Am I correct in seeing that Sam Darnold is available?
You are absolutely correct.
I will take Sam Darnold. Obviously this is one quarterback mock, but I'll try to get a quarterback every year, no matter what kind of league I'm in, because it's always nice to have a quarterback that hits. So take a chance on those guys that are going to get opportunities and might be the next, Ben Roethlisberger or whatever, So.
Yeah, and that's good value here. I mean, quarterbacks almost always score points.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, that's the important thing. Came up on the board, and it sucks because he just trashed him. Actually, I'm going to go Jordan Lasley here.
Fuck.
Yeah, you're welcome. I was between two guys, and Cody trashed on Deion Canyon here, so I'll just go Jordan Lasley. Baltimore offense, they're kind of like the Jags in a way. They added a whole bunch of pieces to that offense, and they have a mediocre quarterback, but they don't have the rushing game quite of the Jags, so they'll be throwing a little bit more than they will. And outside of Michael Crabtree, it's just more of a jumbled mess. And I was a Lasley fan pre-draft, so I'll take him here.
I don't mind that at all. I was definitely going to be pretty happy getting him there. All right, so I'm not going to take I can't really take my fourth round dart in the third round. That's going to ruin the segment, huh?
Well, to lead right into it, that's a nice segue.
Transition,
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take the last relevant one. God, this hurts.
Do it.
Just give me Josh Allen. I can't get it out. Here's why, though. Just like Jacob said, you take a QB every year because they might end up being something. I hate him so much, but he's probably going to be the first one to start. I mean, why on earth would A.J. McCarron start, right? Get him out there on the field. Maybe he does something. You get a lot of value for him for a team that's competing that says, oh, this guy's out here throwing balls. Send him my way. And when I'm in rookie drafts, I'm always thinking about flipping, especially this late. I'm like, all right, who's going to give me an opportunity to flip soon, get something next year? You take a third right now and you can flip them sometime in season for a second. I see that happening with Josh Allen. If he has a few big games, he probably will have a few big games. I mean, I think he's bad, but maybe the arm talent pans out, flip him to that guy after a huge, maybe he throws a 400-yard game or something. Who knows? But that's what I'm looking to do. I'm getting Josh Allen off my team as quick as possible.
I've been able to pick up Josh Allen and he's been going in super flex leagues auctions for a lot cheaper than those other guys. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And at the end of the day, who's to say? He was taken 7th overall. Is he going to be Christian Ponder status? Who knows? I don't know what to expect. But whenever you get a guy who's going to get opportunity, I don't like it as much. If you don't like the quarterback, I don't like it as much in a non-superflex format, but why not take a chance on a guy?
Exactly.
7th overall pick, and we're in the late third round of a draft. Why not?
I mean, maybe he doesn't suck. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But
we'll see. Whatever.
Adam, I wanted to ask. To make sure we did not take Equinemius St. Brown, did we?
No, I'm not interested.
So I wanted to touch on that because we got through the third round, and his
is that it? That's the end of it.
That's the end of it. Yep.
And we got through the third round without touching ESB, who's as of ADP was last month, was still in the second.
Yep, we actually passed. We passed them. I think 2 or 3 players came off the board that are ranked after ESB. So
I'm actually looking at.
We took a bunch, I'm sure.
Yeah, no. Current DLF ADP has him 25th.
I think May? That's still last. Yeah, May. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So
it says May. It says May. I don't know.
In a couple weeks. So
yeah, it might. I don't know if it's been updated or not, but
people were still going off the MFL ADP when they were drafting. So
right.
But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to point that out because obviously I took Jamon Moore, who I'd much prefer to ESB at this point. But we took Kiki Kati, Deshaun Hamilton, Darius Fountain, and Jordan Lasley all over Equinemius St. Brown.
Wow.
Could you imagine?
If I was going wide receiver direction, I would have gone ESB personally because I love the upside. I'll take a chance on a guy who profiles as an upside guy in a high powered offense all day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And it's the third round. Yeah, absolutely.
And
I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of draft capital difference between the 2 Green Bay receivers taken this year either.
1 round, right? 5 and 6.
Yeah, 4, 5, and 6. They went 3 in a row because they took Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
And that's something I mentioned. I've thrown out there. It happened in Green Bay last year with Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones. Both those guys were selected. I believe Williams was selected ahead of Jones, ahead of Jones, and I think whenever you see a team double up like, the Colts did this year with running backs, I think you can basically say it's going to be a crapshoot. And unless you really know which one of those 2 backs is going to perform better in camp or stand out from the other 2, I think you kind of got to draft them equally.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, as soon as Aaron Jones was drafted, I mean, half of fantasy Twitter went out there and said Aaron Jones was the guy to get. I know J.J. Zacharyson was all over that. But, they did the wide receiver thing last year, too, where they took D'Angelo Yancey and Malachi Dupre. And I'm not even sure I know Malachi Dupre isn't, but I'm not sure if Yancey's even still on the roster either.
I kind of want to throw a hot take out there. I think Jamal Williams outscores Aaron Jones.
Well, that's just plain wrong. Absolutely not. That's absolutely wrong.
You know what? I don't see a reason why not, to be honest. But
that's egregious, Bittner. Yeah,
that's egregious.
I would say because kind of because of the reasons I'll talk about later when we get into the best player at each position segment later. But I don't think that the Green Bay offense is going to slow down at any point, and I think Aaron Jones is going to be on the field when it picks up. So I would say that's probably the most practical way of saying it, other than saying I just think Aaron Jones is a lot better.
Just pray he stays healthy. Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's jump into the next segment. Before we get started, I'll kick us off, remind everybody my camera went out, so you're getting hosted by a ghost. The next segment is going to be a 4th round dart throws instead of doing the 4th round rookie mock, because we understand it's going to be very different for everyone. My first kind of dart throw, I guess I would say, I think he's getting a lot of steam, is Ito Smith. I just love it, man. I mean, Tevin Coleman's going to be gone next year. He's going to demand too much to stay with that team, and rightfully so. I'm going to go ahead and say the dude had over 1,000 yards rushing the last 3 seasons. Now, he was playing for Southern Mississippi, and they would play against teams like North Texas, Louisiana Tech, Rice, whatever. I mean, his supporting cast on his offense was, just as bad as the teams he was playing against. So he had 49 receptions with 515 yards in his first season, and it was pretty much the same the next 2. 13 touchdowns year 1, 19 touchdowns year 2, and 17 year 3. That's just insane numbers, man. I'm really excited about. 15 TDs year 3. I'm really excited about him next season after Tevin Coleman's out of there.
Yeah, he's a popular candidate. I know some love him. They'll take him in the early 3rd.
Early 3rd.
Wow. Oh yeah, I've seen it. He's being touted. I think Travis May's a huge fan, and the whole Dynasty Life crew. I think they've been touting him a lot.
I didn't understand how impressive the numbers were until I took a look for this, and that's just remarkable. I mean, he averaged 5.7 yards per carry last year. I'm pretty excited about getting him. We're going to go with Chris next. Chris, who's your 4th-round dart?
All right, my dart throw. I've seen him go in the 4th. I've seen him go in the 5th. I've seen him go undrafted in those deeper drafts. It's crazy. I'm going to go with Mr. Irrelevant and Trey Quinn.
Yes.
For Washington. You're a Washington fan too.
Yep.
Gruden, I follow all the Redskins beat guys, obviously, and it's been reported that Jay Gruden was pounding the table for him as early in the 4th round.
Yep.
This guy, Jay Gruden wanted this guy with every fiber of his being for the majority of the draft. Great route runner, productive college guy. He profiles in the slot, obviously. At this point, we know Josh Doxson, we know Jamison Crowder, and who's else starting on the outside? I feel like I'm missing somebody.
No one worth mentioning. Who caught that awesome touchdown last year at the end?
Maurice Harris is good, but he's not going to play. They hate him.
Think so?
No, they hate him. He would have played already. Well, in any event, you basically get the idea that we can't even remember Washington wide receivers.
Right.
It's not at the point where it's he's going to make the roster or not. It's how soon he's going to start and how soon he's going to be productive. And I think he is going to start soon, and I think he will be productive, which will make Jamison Crowder an afterthought when he's a free agent at the end of this season.
Yeah.
Trey Quinn could be your starting slot wide receiver in Washington by 2019 easily.
Oh, I could see that. I could see before that, really. But Crowder really profiles well to play well with Alex Smith, though. Alex Smith likes to throw to open receivers. He's not going to – he's kind of like Dak Prescott in the whole Des Bryant thing. Like, Des Bryant couldn't play with Dak Prescott because Dak Prescott wouldn't just throw it up for him. It's going to be the same thing, which is why I think Doxson is going to be maybe even worse than he's been so far. But Jamison Crowder struggled a little bit with a hamstring injury last year. He only missed 1 game, but it was pretty visible. So I'm excited about that this year, but I'm all about Trey Quinn because I don't think there's any way they re-sign Jamison Crowder. And we also forgot to mention Paul Richardson. Yeah.
Damn it. There it is.
I said it first.
Damn it.
All right, Jacob, you're up. Who's your 4th-round dart throw?
1 second. I think I'm gonna. He kind of ties into the next section too, but I think I'm gonna go Chase Edmonds.
Nice.
If he's there in the 4th.
Adam, you owe me $5.
Shut up.
I knew it. I called it.
He was gonna come up. He was gonna come up either in the mock draft or here or in the next segment. So I figured, why not? Why not here? Yeah, or all of them. But
cancel everything else. We're only talking about Chase Edmonds.
I just think when you're talking about a guy who has a lot of talent in a tough situation, he was one of my favorite backs coming in, very, very highly productive. You guys probably all know his 3-cone and all that, athletically tested out as well, which is a great sign for those small school guys. Stuck behind DJ, and it sucks. You know, the guy I really wanted to go with was Jalen Samuels, though, as far as dart throws.
I thought you were going to take
because that's like the ultimate dart throw. You don't even know what position the guy's going to play or how he's going to even work for that offense. But if they do use Samuels in a hybrid role, he's a very, very sneaky dart as well. Sorry if I took that.
You stole Cody's guy.
No, I didn't steal my guy.
Who you got, Cody?
I'm gonna go Richie James.
James
for my dart throw. Go along with the whole young offense, Jimmy Garoppolo narrative, and talk about that cliche. But I also think he's just more talented than Trent Taylor, and for where he profiles the play, that's really the only guy in his way. More athletic. I think he's. What's that?
You're hating on Trent Taylor right now.
Not hating.
I love me
Taylor
some
Twitter's
Trent
going to destroy your mentions.
Josh Norris is listening to this right now. He's pissed.
Hey, man, it's not my fault Richie James is more athletic than he is.
Hey, I love Richie James. I'm just kidding.
He was so fun to watch in college, man.
If you like college production, you'll love Richie James. The dude did it all. He ran, he threw, he caught.
Yeah.
Just great player.
All right. That'll do it. I thought you were going to go with John Kelly, Jacob. Because we talked about both Chase Edmonds and John Kelly on the podcast.
Who?
Yeah. No, we'll talk about him next. How's that sound?
Yeah, all right, cool. I'll start us off. We're talking about league's best handcuffs. Mine's James Conner. So here's the deal with James Conner. Whoa. The reason I'm taking James Conner here is because Le'Veon Bell is going to get run into the ground this year. Okay, like they're not gonna re-sign him. Like you thought they ran him into the ground last year. We're probably going to get a historic amount of touches this year. That being said, if the game plan is to run Le'Veon Bell into the ground, your offense is run, give Le'Veon the bell. When Le'Veon goes down, they're not changing the whole offense because James Conner is in. What are you saving James Conner for? So my theory, if Le'Veon goes down, which is what we're handcuffing for, James Conner is going to get an absurd amount of volume. He's not as good as Le'Veon Bell, obviously, so there's a wrench in the situation. But, I mean, you're getting the volume of a top 5 running back for essentially free. I mean, James Conner's probably on the waivers, right? So I'm definitely going to stash him in deeper leagues just in case. And I know a lot of people already have him on their rosters because they know Le'Veon's out of there next year. So you might get him in a starting role anyway, so you probably should pick him up. All right, Chris, you want to go next?
I'll go last, actually. I'll let Cody and Jake go.
Sounds good.
All right, for mine, I'm going to go Gio Bernard.
Okay, cool.
Maybe I should have gone second.
You should have.
I mean, for me, he's just not only is he handcuffed, but he could also have flex value if you're in a deeper league. Came out and they said they want to use him in that workhorse role, but I don't trust anything out of Cincinnati, so I would expect Gio to still get a couple looks, a couple targets, a handoff here and there. And if we saw whenever Mixon went down last year, Gio just jumped in and took over. So for me, that'd be my guy.
Gio, one of the most underrated dynasty players or fantasy players in general. The dude's so good. I wish they would have given him the rock. But anyway, go ahead, Jacob.
I wanted a John Kelly, but I don't really want to talk about John Kelly as a handcuff. Even though I think that he's going to be a great guy to own, and if you're a girly owner, you gotta have Kelly. But the guy that I had written down here is Matt Breida for San Francisco.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
And I kind of like where Cody's going. As far as drafting handcuffs, I know you talk to some people, they won't draft them at all. John Bosch isn't a big guy of going after handcuffs.
Yeah.
I like to have a guy who's considered, I guess, a backup, but holds standalone value still.
Kind of like the 1B.
And I think, kind of like Gio Bernard, but I wouldn't, obviously McKinnon got the money, but I wouldn't be surprised if Breida got a ton of standalone value. And if McKinnon can't hold up to a full workload, he'll be, I think, the guy to step up out of that backfield.
Watched the show last week, did you, Jacob? Because you might have just completely just said exactly what I said last week about Matt Breida. Nice work.
Oh, really? Did I? I actually didn't. I did not watch the show last week.
No, I'm just kidding, man. No, I understand. We were talking about McKinnon actually, and I was like,
yeah,
I love McKinnon and I want him, but I want Matt Breida, and I have Matt Breida in a lot of places because McKinnon's not going to get 200, 250 carries. He's just not. His body's not made for it.
As far as true handcuff goes, Kelly falls into the handcuff category more. Breida's more of a committee guy, holds some standalone value, but he'd get a huge bump if anything were to happen to McKinnon.
in points per carry leagues, especially, I'm targeting Matt Breida because he's going to get more of the carries while McKinnon gets more of the targets and catches and stuff like that.
But that's not a common thought, though. That's the thing. I mean, people think that McKinnon's just going to get 50 more carries. I mean, if you listen to Addison Hayes on the podcast when we put it up this week, he projected like 210 carries based on. I mean, he did the legwork, he did the work, and I just don't see it. I don't see how he just becomes that guy. So I'll take Breida for pretty much nothing. I mean, you could throw out thirds and probably get Breida at this point. It's like I just don't see how McKinnon just takes that role. So I'm all about picking up Breida. I don't think you could.
As a known Breida shopper and buyer, thirds ain't getting it done.
No, I don't think if you're a Breida, I'm a Breida owner, and I'm not selling him for anything less than.
Well, that's because you like him. Even guys who don't like him, but like I can't get him for. I tried 212, 211, 210. It wasn't getting it done. Wow. It wasn't getting it done.
Well, that's close. Okay, so you might have to approach him with a player, but would you give up? See, that's going to be tough. Yeah, I would have to approach it from a player standpoint, but I think every player that just ran through my head real quick, I'd rather have. So you don't know. I think if you have them, you're holding them. What's the point in selling right now?
Yeah, no. Well, you obviously shouldn't sell, but I would be buying if you could. Okay. Well, my strategy to go last was to narrow down some of my options. And only one got taken, so I'm kind of stuck. I'm gonna actually name off two because I can't help myself. The first one is Latavius Murray. Okay, we saw what happened last year when Dalvin Cook went down, and Latavius Murray no longer has Jerick McKinnon in that backfield. So he should see he was productive when he was on the field, so he should see that volume if Dalvin Cook were to go down again, which he has been known to do. And then the next one is kind of a late round dart as well. Justin Jackson, 7th round pick for Los Angeles Chargers. I think that pick basically eliminated Austin Eckler as any sort of fantasy asset. He's probably droppable now. I think Justin Jackson's a really good player. I know Matt Waldman was a huge fan. He called him his sleeper the whole draft. If Melvin Gordon, God forbid, don't get hurt, Melvin Gordon. I have so much Melvin Gordon. Were to get hurt, I think Justin Jackson steps right in. He was extremely productive in college, handled a ton of work in college. He had something like 1,100 carries in college and never got hurt once. Wow. That's what I like to see. So Justin Jackson's a late round target I'm looking at, and maybe even on some waivers. I'm not sure. He's been usually getting drafted, but I like him in the 4th round and as a handcuff if you're into that sort of thing.
It feels a lot like the Melvin Gordon hate has simmered down a bit, but the problem was always what if they bring that 3rd down back? And then they brought in Eckler, who started getting 3rd down work, and it's like, okay, Melvin Gordon's still producing. And the hate was still there.
Almost like Melvin Gordon is good.
Yeah, tell me about it. He was in the receiving game. What do you want from the dude? I was so happy that they brought in Austin Eckler, and just listening all offseason to, there's the 3rd down back we've been talking about. Okay. I think he had one of the best years so far, right?
Yeah, it was his best
by far, yeah, because
he keeps getting better every year. And you can say he's not good at football. That's fine. I don't really care, quite honest with you. The guy scores fantasy points. Anthony Lynn, the head coach this offseason, somebody asked him point blank, are you looking for a running back to spell Melvin Gordon a little bit? He's like, why? I want him to get the ball more.
Yeah.
Even if they want to run him into the ground for this year and his 5th-year option next year, fine. I'll ride that to fantasy championships.
Oh yeah, yeah, and then he'll still be relevant. He's not going to drop off a cliff. I don't even think he's bad at football. I think he kind of runs a little silly, but whatever. I kind of run funny too. I'm also not in the NFL, but I could go there if I wanted to. I just didn't want to.
People's big thing is he's not a hugely efficient runner, and he doesn't have huge home run threat ability. And maybe not, but he averaged 3.9 yards per carry and was running back 5 last year, or running back 4. I don't remember one of those two. Yes, please.
He would have been. I think Ingram was 5, so he must have been 4. All right, gentlemen. Next we have Chubb versus Penny versus Sony, and I'm really afraid nobody's going to take one of these guys, so I might have to jump in there. We'll go Cody, Jacob, Chris, then me, because I'll take them if no one else does. Cody, you go ahead and pick one and let us know why you have that guy over the other two.
I'll start it off right. Give me Nick Chubb.
Okay.
I would take Chubb over him. He was my RB2 going in pre-draft. I just think he's the most talented. I think he has 3-down capabilities. This is something me and Adam, I was throwing at Adam about ideas for today, and I was just brought up to him where do guys put the line of delineation whenever they're talking about someone either having or not having the capability to be a 3-down back. Mm-hmm. Like people are always just talking about it's Sony over Chubb. But if you look at their career catches at Georgia, I think Sony had 1 more or 2 more than Chubb over their 4 years. So
I'd have to look, but Chubb was definitely relevant before injury.
Actually, Sony had twice as many receptions as Chubb.
What?
Well, you have to understand Chubb missed a lot over injury.
Correct. Yeah. I know I might be 1 or 2 off of reception wise, but I have 64 for Michelle and 31 for Chubb. That's what I have written down. So
yeah, but you may have also been looking at average.
I might have been. Yeah. For some reason, I want to say Sony maybe had like 1 or 2 less than that, but yeah, I actually I don't look up receptions. I just go yards and receiving average and calculate it. So it doesn't always come out the same. But yeah, it's definitely last year at Georgia. But it's almost like the idea was that actually a knock on Chubb, or was that just maybe Georgia wanting to prove that they're actually the running back factory, and they want to be able to recruit guys on the premise that if you come play running back for Georgia, you're going to be a 1st-round pick or damn near a 1st-round pick in the NFL. So I think that it was almost like they owed it to Sony to feature him in that passing role. I feel like the last year, I don't know. That was, I forget who I was having that conversation with. It might've been Clint, but it made a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense to me for sure.
Well, maybe it was just they have this plethora of running back talent, and they do. Georgia always has good running backs, right?
It's absurd.
Nick Chubb, Sony Michel, and DeAndre Swift, and even if you're into Elijah Holyfield, I think is their 4th guy. DeAndre Swift is a hell of a player, 5-star recruit. Yeah. Sony Michel, hell of a player, 5-star recruit. Nick Chubb, incredible player, 5-star recruit. And when he came back from that injury only a year afterward, which was just ridiculous, the guy's insane. They knew, why would we have all this talent, why would we put all of this on Nick Chubb if we don't have to? Just get Sony Michel obviously can catch the ball, so we'll let him do that, and we'll let Chubb pound it down their throats.
And in Chubb's defense, he take away a year from his gruesome injury. If you looked at it, it was disgusting. Take away a year from that and then more time from recovering, which left Sony Michel all that time to cement himself. So without injury, or we might not even be talking about Sony Michel very much. So
we might be talking about if without an injury, we might be talking about Chubb or Barkley 101. That might be the conversation.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. I think he's
now we're ruining it because
I think
looks like taking Chubb.
Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and transition into my pick here because Chubb is the long-term play, and I won't talk anybody out of that who's rebuilding their team at the 102 or 103, 104, whatever, and they want to take Chubb. I won't talk anybody out of it. But I think if you're trying to win now, I think Rashad Penny's the pick. He's gonna get opportunity like none of these other guys. Maybe, I think I just don't see any way he doesn't get like featured heavily in that offense.
Right.
They're gonna score points whether or not that offensive line is bad or not. I believe they get better. They got a new offensive line coach. There's Seattle's. It's always so pathetic what they invest in their offensive line. They never, ever make the big free agent signing. It seems like they're always dragging their feet to draft one early. So it's kind of frustrating to watch that as a Seattle fan. It's frustrating to watch that unit grow, but I feel like they at least made some sort of an effort to change it from last year. So it's going to be different, and it can't get worse. So I don't know as far as the offense goes. But Penny's the guy who I truly believe is going to score more points of the three of them this year. And as far as value goes, I mean, look what happened with Hunt and Kamara. Even though Fournette might still be the better long-term play, who's going first in drafts now? So this time next year, Penny could be the guy who just sees a huge bump in value because of year one production.
Right.
Yeah, my man. You know, Adam, which way I'm going to go, so I'll leave Michelle for you. We could talk a little bit more about Penny here. If I'm sitting at 102, it's Penny. If I know my league mates don't like him or don't value him, I'll move back one or two slots. I actually did that in the league. I took Geis at 102 and then Penny at 105, and then traded Geis for McKinnon and Thielen, like I did, like I told you all last week.
Yeah.
Just because I knew that's how they valued him. But we can talk about Seattle as a whole. The old saying of addition by subtraction applies to Tom Cable. Okay, the guy's garbage. He can't do anything right. One of the worst coaches I've ever seen. If I could create a coaching staff of, the all-time worst, Hugh Jackson would be the head coach, and I put Tom Cable as the offensive line coach, because the guy can't do his job at any sort of high level, and the guy keeps getting jobs. It's the cocoon, man.
If y'all saw the open bar last week, I watched it. P. Howdy brought up a good point that Seattle's offensive line was a lot better last year after they brought in that guard, which it escaped him at the time, and it is escaping me now.
I was actually getting there next because they traded that second round pick. Their second round pick this year was Dwayne Brown. He was a left tackle, actually, not a guard. Their second round pick. So they technically did get an offensive lineman high in the draft and spent that draft capital. And Dwayne Brown is a good player. He left tackle for the Texans for a few years. I think he's a bit on the older side. I'm not sure, but he's still a good player. And those last 8 weeks when he was on the field, that offensive line did get better. And I think they might have taken one or two in the draft just later on. I honestly can't remember, but just a competent coach. And the addition of Dwayne Brown added to the volume that Penny is going to see in the running and receiving game. I just don't see how he doesn't finish top it of all these rookies, including the three we're talking about here.
And Jacob, you told me last week on the pod when you were on. Do you remember who the offensive lineman they drafted was? It was like the 6th round or something like that.
I can't. No, I can't remember. I just know they took a flyer on a guy. I didn't realize that they had traded for a tackle. So that's actually news to me.
That was in the middle of last year, toward the trade deadline or something.
Okay, yeah. I actually never even realized that. So, yeah. I just if there's one, Pete Carroll's my favorite coach in the NFL. People can say what they want about him, whatever his time in USC, but he is one of my favorite coaches. I think he's a great motivator. Maybe second to Belichick as far as coaches that I would trust with running a team. So I think I wouldn't rule him out at all. I just think that offense, like you said, Chris, it's going to be a potent, high power offense, and it's going to run through Russell Wilson, and Penny's going to be the guy standing.
I'm actually going to get there later when we talk about our top overall positions. I got quarterbacks. I got quarterbacks.
All right. So I really wish I threw Geis in this conversation, because I did not know that any of you were going to have any of these guys over Geis, but it sounds like some of you might have. I would take Geis over any of these guys, but we won't talk about that. I will give a Sony plug, though. Now, initially, I was pissed when the Patriots drafted him, because same reason everyone else was pissed, because the Patriots are the Patriots, and they're going to play 4 different running backs, and Gillislee's going to score 3 touchdowns in week 1 again, and then he's going to sit on the bench the rest of the year. But listening to a lot smarter people than me, Sony's skill set is favorable to or comparable to that of Deion Lewis. Loved Deion Lewis last year. And break it down. I mean, okay, James White's going to have that role. Fine. James White's going to have the third down role, the kind of crucial moment role. Don't care about Jeremy Hill. Don't care about Mike Gillislee. Neither of them are standing in the way. Might not even make the team. Then you have Burkhead. He's going to be that kind of Army knife role. But with Amendola leaving, Edelman's coming back, I think Burkhead might get involved a little bit in the slot and kind of going to have to see the field after Sony gets on the field. I don't know that Rex Burkhead's really ever going to be an upgrade to Sony. Why? Why would he? I mean, I don't see how putting Rex on the field is going to give you any better chance than Sony, which is why they drafted him first, right? Why else would they have drafted him so high?
You know I love Rex. Oh, come on.
No, I like him too, but I mean, we're talking about Sony Michel that they drafted at the end of the first round. I don't think they'd do that if they thought that Rex Burkhead was going to handle everything.
Yeah, I understand that. I know it's a small sample, but you remember the last time they took a running back in the first round was Lawrence Maroney, right?
Yes.
He never eclipsed 186 carries his entire career in a season. I'm just saying, and obviously it doesn't happen all the time, especially for the Patriots. So we can't take that as, gospel or the law because, each situation is different.
Here's what I know. Pete Carroll is going to give Rashad Penny a chance to play. If Sony Michel doesn't step up his game, Bill Belichick will not give him a chance to play.
If he drops the ball, Bill Belichick does not care.
But at the same time, New England just, I'm not sure exactly what their breakdown was as far as whether or not they ran the ball or threw the ball more, but just due to the sheer nature of their offense being on the field so much that offense had over 400 rushing attempts at last year.
I believe, Jacob, I'm sorry, that it was like 10th in the league. I remember hearing that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that's not as high as I thought it was.
Well, it's still top 10. That's still pretty
top
good.
10. We're talking top 10. We're talking top 10 as far as opportunities go from last year. And I worry that it's going to be so muddy too. And all the things you say, Chris,
it makes me love Rex Burkhead even more because his price keeps dropping. And he's going to get opportunity.
It's so low now. I wish y'all could see it. I wish my camera didn't go out because I've been shaking my head the whole time. Now it's because I agree. But first off, let's get into this. This is what I think McDaniels didn't or reneged on the job because he was told that he's going to be the heir to the Patriots.
I believe that, yes.
And I think this is a McDaniels pick. I think that he said, if I'm going to be taking over the team, I want to be involved in the first-round pick. I think that he's part of the reason that the Patriots took a first-round pick. Why else would a first-round running back, why else would it have changed so drastically? Like you mentioned, it's been years since they took a first-round running back, and now all of a sudden McDaniels decides he doesn't want to be the Colts head coach, comes back to the Patriots, and then we get a first-round running back. So, yes, he's going to get benched if he fumbles. It always happens. Belichick's there.
And he did fumble more than anyone else in college football.
He did.
But there's that.
But we haven't talked about any first-round running backs fumbling the football. I mean, okay, it's Bill Belichick. Maybe he'll do it to anyone because you bet your ass Bill Belichick will sit anyone, dude. He'll sit whoever he wants. But what I'm getting at is it's Bill Belichick and he'll sit whoever, but it's not always going to be Bill Belichick. Sony has a long career to go. And if I'm correct that it was a McDaniels pick, then I'm not worried about just next year because it's not redraft. I want Bill Belichick gone, and then you don't have to worry about that same way.
Yeah, and I actually agree with you. It's just that for this particular conversation, we're talking about Chubb, Sony, and Penny.
Yeah, I'm not taking them over any of them. It's just my plug. All right, to segue into the next one.
A lot of people love Sony, so.
Oh, yeah. I know. People have him ranked a lot higher than I do.
Oh, yeah.
I think Ryan McDowell has him as like a 6th or 7th rookie, something like that, which is higher than I will. You think like Barkley guys, Chubb, Penny, that's 4. I think he had DJ Moore 5 and Sony 6. So.
Freeman's ahead of.
Well, no, that's Ryan's. I'm sorry. No, mine. I had Freeman ahead of Michelle, right behind Moore. So.
And both of the Dynasty nerds have Sony at 102 above Geis, above Chubb.
Oh yeah, no, they love him.
Yeah,
they
they're all
love him. Rich really likes him. So it'll be interesting. The draft capital's there. So I don't know why I feel like a first round pick by the Patriots means less than any other team, but it shouldn't.
I think it's
that's what I'm trying to say.
We've seen it mean less, I think, is why we think that. Like we said, he'll bench anybody. He would bench Randy Moss if he didn't go out there and play free safety on Hail Marys. Mm-hmm. He would have done it.
I mean, he literally lost the Super Bowl because he benched somebody. I get that. I'm just saying he's not always going to be there, and I would like to say that it's probably going to be his last year.
I honestly cannot speak to that. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't have any glaring holes that they thought, and they were like, here, we could use another running back. Here's Sony. I don't know what their roster looks like. I really don't.
They could have definitely used – I would like to say they could have used a receiver after losing Brandon Cooks, but to each their own. Let's move on. Let's get into the trades because we're going to run out of time. This one's going to take a minute, but I definitely want to get into this one. It's the one I'm most excited about. I want to go last, actually, though, because I think mine's going to be very different than all of you. Cody, let's go ahead and start with your trade, and we're going to break it down together. Go ahead.
All right, 12-team, full PPR. Side A would be Mr. Corey Davis. Side B, the 110 and Alex Collins.
Woof. Okay. Oof. Can I? This isn't Superflex, right?
No, sir.
Okay, I'll jump in here first because I actually wanted to point out that I'm a huge advocate for selling Corey Davis. Brian Malone, Malone FF on the Twitter, is a huge proponent of selling 22 and 23-year-olds who don't finish inside the top 48 wide receivers. There's a very low hit rate for wide receivers who don't finish in the top 48 their rookie year for 22 and 23-year-olds. And if their value does not change, which Corey Davis really hasn't, you can still probably get 102, 103 for him. I'm a huge advocate of selling at that price. But as Corey just pointed out, this was not anywhere near that price. 110 and Alex Collins. I don't think I could sell Davis for that. I'll keep him on my team.
No. All right, let me go ahead and rebuttal on that. I feel like I reference this list every time I'm on a pod or this show, and I cannot remember. I hope the person that put this out hears me and tells me that's me. But somebody put out a list of players that had hamstring issues last year, referenced them as buy lows, included a little bit of data. Point being, Corey Davis had a hamstring issue last year. Very, very hard to predict what he's going to do this season because we didn't get to see him at full capacity last season. But I will tell you, he was at full capacity in that playoff game, and that looked damn good.
Exactly.
So I don't know if I'm buying, but I don't know if I'm selling either. And now, if we're talking the 1-2 or something, yeah, I'm probably in on that.
Yeah, and like I said, the other side of that coin is someone like Mike Williams, who also did not perform and was also injured. But the converse on that side is Mike Williams had an incredible value decrease. You know, you can get him for a second-round rookie pick, where Corey Davis's value has pretty much essentially stayed stagnant. And Mike Williams, if I remember correctly, was actually drafted ahead of Corey Davis.
Yes.
So I'm saying, like, if the value drops,
not in the real. Sorry to interrupt. Not in the real NFL, he wasn't. But
I thought it's pretty close.
Corey Davis was like the 105 or 106,
and Mike Williams like 109 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
7 or something.
I'm sorry. Yeah. In any event, but when someone experiences that value decrease, that's where you want to hold. But Corey Davis didn't experience any value decrease. Not really. It was marginal. It's essentially like getting another free swing at one of those top rookies. Okay. And not taking the chance of being a part of that bad history of those misses of wide receivers who don't perform in that rookie year. Where, you know, Mike Williams, I would hold because he experienced that value decrease. You're not going to get another swing at the 106, 107 where he was going last year.
Right. So who's everyone got here? I'm Corey Davis.
Yeah, Davis.
Oh, it's Davis. Yeah, it's Davis.
Who are you, Cody?
I was Corey Davis.
Yeah, okay.
No,
I've just seen a lot of people talk.
He's stolen.
Yeah,
nice.
Go throw that dude a third or something.
I've just seen a lot of people talking about Collins since they didn't really address that in the draft. Then obviously with all the rookie hype, thought that'd be an interesting one to throw out.
Oh, I like him.
I like Collins enough. That's just not enough
not
there.
That much. No.
Yeah.
All right, Jacob, you're up. What you got?
Sorry.
Pulling it up, Jacob.
I was debating between one, but I'm not going to go. This is a trade that I made it earlier this offseason, and I've been going through it in my head a lot. It's Christian McCaffrey.
Yep.
2019 first, two 2020 first, and a 2021 first.
Oh, that was the other side, right?
Yeah, that was the other. Christian McCaffrey or the 4 first-round picks, 2 in 2020, 1 in 2019, 1 in 2021.
That's the one you did with Clint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Flint.
Flint. Shouts out to Flint Followill.
I don't know how I feel about
really
that.
Tough, man, because on one hand it's 4 firsts, but 3 of those assets are at least 2 years out.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And Clint's team is stacked now. So the parameters of that league, which almost makes Christian McCaffrey worth even more. It's a full point PPR, but it's also, I believe, 0.2 points per carry. Okay. And it's a single quarterback league where we have some quarterback bonuses, but that doesn't really affect this at all.
So is your team, I mean, are you a bottom 2, bottom 3 team?
So actually, I feel like my team is still all right. I had it up here. It's actually pretty rough, but I've got, but it's not, because I've got Russell Wilson. Mm-hmm. It's a start 1 quarterback, and it's the 0.2 points per carry. Russell's going to be, in my opinion, he's the top quarterback to own in this format. And then my running backs, I have Zeke, Amir Abdullah, Kenyon Drake, Derrick Henry, Matt Breida, and Samaje Perine. So decent running backs as far as I'm concerned. So losing McCaffrey there didn't hurt as bad, but where it really hurt was I had invested in running back very heavily in the startup, and I didn't shore up my receivers. So I've got Doug Baldwin, Martavis Bryant, Tyler Lockett, Rashad Matthews, Robert Woods, and Ted Ginn.
Holy crap, that's not so bad.
Is it his first, his 19 first? Do you know that offhand?
Yep. So I get all of his picks coming up. So that 19 first is gonna be later probably.
Yeah.
But I have his, and then another players. I believe it's Riley. I think Riley Bymasters. That's whose pick that is. But his team is pretty solid too. So so that's where I'm starting to feel like. Because I sold McCaffrey, obviously. So I'm starting to feel now like, man, 4 picks, it sure is going to be nice. It's going to be fun to draft over the next 3 years. But am I really going to get replacement level value?
Right.
Am I going to get a player? And we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I feel a lot worse about that trade now than I did when I initially made it. When I initially made it, I was like, all right, sweet.
I mean, you did that pretty close to the startup, didn't you, if I remember correctly?
It was during the startup.
Yeah. So, and the way your team ended up, I actually kind of like it. Baldwin, Martavis, you said, Robert Woods. That might be the all TJ Calkins team right there, to be quite honest with you. That's a contenders lineup if you only start like 8, 9, 10. I don't know how many you start. But if you're only starting like 8, 9, 10.
It's only a 12-team league, and I can tell you there are some super teams already. There are some really good teams, so it'll be interesting.
I mean, you do have pieces, but this is a team, just hearing it, that I would be very waiting till like October, November before I decided to sell out, because you got some hitters, man.
For sure. So I think in the sense that I think my team is still very competitive.
It is.
I think I probably won out. Obviously, if I can't find replacement level value, it was not worth it, though.
Just from your team build, I'll take McCaffrey in this trade, but I understand why you did it at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends. If I felt like I was going to go maybe not even a rebuild route, but a younger route, like maybe even trying to sell Baldwin, I'd probably feel okay with that trade. which we'll get to in my trade, which is very similar. But you can go ahead, Chris.
Oh, my trade?
Yes, sir.
All right. I made this maybe a month ago, maybe not quite a month ago, just a few weeks. This was during the rookie draft. It's 12-team Superflex, PPR, and 0.1 points per carry, so not too much. It's just something to help kind of balance the bell cows a little bit. I gave the 110, 207, 208, and a 19 second. So 110 and 3 seconds for Aaron Jones and the 105, and Rashad Penny fell to the 105. Or actually, scratch that. My brain just fell. I took Rashad Penny at 102 in this league. I'm sorry. I actually took.
Oh, you really do love Rashad Penny, don't you? Wow.
Yep.
Some Redskins fan you are.
I'll do what needs to be done, my good sir. No, I just remembered now that I spelled it out in my head. I took Baker Mayfield at 105 because he fell. So I mean, it was super flex,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually fine at quarterback in this league, which is why I took Rashad Penny at 102 because I have Watson and Mariota. And then when Baker Mayfield, I think it was Rashad Penny, Geis, and Chubb that went next, if I'm remembering correctly. So when that happened, I pulled the trigger on this deal because I do love Aaron Jones, like we've mentioned before. I've been trying to get him from this guy forever, and I almost had him taking the 207 straight. So if I wash Aaron Jones and the 207 out, would you give the 110, 208, and a 19 second for Baker Mayfield? I would.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, why not? You know, first overall, he's going to get his chance. He's supposed to be the savior. I think he's got a chance at that. Yeah, I'm all for that.
This is a start one. Is this a start one?
Super flex.
No, super flex.
Yeah.
Super
Oh,
flex.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm all about that.
Oh, yeah. That's Baker easy for sure.
Can you run through that one more time, Chris, with
for sure.
with the players that you took instead of the picks?
Perfect.
Well, I gave these picks, so I can't tell you who was taken. Right. But I gave the 110, 207, 208, and a 19 second for Aaron Jones and Baker Mayfield.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep, all about that. All right, I'm going to go last. And then we're probably going to have to wrap it up and leave the last segment for next week. Unless we power around it. We could power around it.
Power around it. Let's go quick.
All right. So I'll go with my last trade. I want to go ahead with one where, by all accounts, I got hosed, and I'm okay with that. Now I'm going to start with I'm a Nazi when it comes to me competing. If I don't feel like I'm going to make a good shot at the championship, and I don't feel like I could get a piece or two to do it, then I'm going to go younger. So I gave up Nook, and I got in return Calvin Ridley, I got Sammy Watkins, and I got Josh Gordon. So here's the thing with that. I think, right. I think Josh Gordon could easily be talked about. Let's not say top 5. Let's say top 8 this time next year. Granted, he has to not smoke weed before then. So
not happening.
Right.
Shut your mouth.
He's got to stay clean. But I mean, we're talking about a guy who, actually, he was the wide receiver 1 in his full season, correct?
Yep, 2013.
2013 was the wide receiver 1. Now he should be 27 now, but the only reason we care about age is because that's wear and tear on the player. He's been sitting on his couch eating Cheetos. There's no wear and tear on Josh Gordon.
And so dude, it's still
I don't know about that. I feel like I don't play in the NFL, but as I get older, it happens regardless, probably. So
did you see Josh Gordon, bro?
Dude, he looks
the dude's a freak.
Ripped.
And we also talked about this a little, Jacob. We talked about this with DJ, how I feel he had the best injury he could have possibly had. Well, Josh Gordon had the best suspension he could have possibly had because he hasn't put anything on those legs in, years? So anyways, I'm high on Josh Gordon. I like Calvin Ridley a lot, and I like Sammy Watkins more so in the NFL, but if he's going to be the wide receiver 3 in the scenario, totally down with that. Now,
I think Sammy's probably, in my opinion, Sammy's probably the best receiver you got in that package. Which that goes to show I just do not trust him at all.
I mean, I can understand
not even
to
a little
point.
bit, not even a little bit.
But
That's
the guy,
gross,
I want to believe in Josh Gordon, and I do believe in Josh Gordon. I think he does stay clean. He's been clean for a while. We haven't even heard his name at all, which is good news in my opinion.
Sounded genuine.
I don't love Calvin Ridley as a player. He did land in a great spot, but I don't love him as a player. And I think Sammy Watkins is just a glorified deep threat. I really do. I don't think he's that good.
Don't you dare.
How dare
Cody.
you get him,
Cody, let me tell you something. Sammy Watkins sucks, and you can tell that to John Bosch, too.
Oh, my God. I can't wait to get Josh in here to talk to you about Sammy Watkins.
Forget Bosch. I'm sending J Mike.
Yeah, you can send J Mike? Yeah, you can do it. Tell him Sammy sucks, too.
Look, anyway, Sammy Watkins he's more valuable to a team in the NFL than he is to your fantasy team. He's amazing at football. He's not going to put up the fantasy numbers because he's taking away coverage. He's rolling coverages. When I made the trade, I didn't have enough players to really even start a lineup that I was comfortable putting out there. So I took one player, I turned it into 3. I did my due diligence. I shopped them around, didn't get any offers close to what I needed.
So that's when you hold the guy, though.
But for what? So I can not field a lineup and just lose all year, but feel good about having Nook. That's why I brought it up. Every trade's not going to work in every league. I get that, but why do I just look at Nook score me 30 points every week and have 35 total points? It was an orphan I picked up anyways.
Let me ask this if we can. I'm sorry, Jacob.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Let's put pick market values to these players. Let's say Ridley's worth approximately the 110. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think you can get 107 for Josh Gordon.
Oh, get out of here! Get out of here! I would give like a 105.
No, you won't be able to.
In a standard league,
you won't be able to get 105. You won't be able to get
Rojo. You wouldn't give Rojo for Gordon?
I'm telling you, with with rookie picks right now, I don't think you can get it, even if he would be worth it. Because
I wouldn't. I would not.
Cody, would you give the 105 for Josh Gordon right now?
I could not do that. No.
I'm going to say 107.
Ronald Jones or Royce. All right, go ahead.
I'm going to say 107 is the market, and I'm going to say 106 is Sammy market. Okay, even though I don't like him. Shut up, Cody. Would you give Nuke Hopkins for 106, 107, and 110? Jacob, go.
No.
Not even close.
No.
Okay, I would need if I was going to give away Hopkins, I'd need the 101. And that's just like nothing less as far as I'm concerned. Or I don't think that I would.
And I mean, these aren't rookies, so I mean, we can't say they would
right. Exactly, they're not rookies. So
they are players with except Ridley, but two of them are players, so they're a little bit more valuable than maybe those rookie picks say. But I'm just saying, like, it feels light, but I don't think it's the worst trade I've ever seen.
I think that maybe in a lifetime far, far away, one of those 3 receivers you have becomes a Nuke, but not. It's going to need to be, in my opinion, unless your team was really that bad, Adam, where you really were just like it was Hopkins and everybody else. And if that was the case, I still would have held out and tried to get more for him personally.
Adam, I totally understand why you did it because I'm actually in the same spot in the league. I'm in a 14-team league. Okay, my team is garbage. Okay, I have Marlon Mack, Matt Breida, and Antonio Brown. Okay, that is it. Like
right.
The entirety of my team. It was an orphan. I sold everything, and most of them I shouldn't have even got anything for. But that is all I have, and I cannot sell Antonio Brown for anything.
Right.
I cannot get anything for Antonio Brown in this league. The best offer I have gotten is like 1 first-round pick. That is it. I have shopped him. I have gone up to every single team. I offered Antonio Brown for Michael Thomas straight up and got denied and laughed at.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
And so here's
I'm
why
willing to take that loss, and nobody wants it. Sorry.
So the reason I brought up this trade, by all accounts, I got hosed, including by myself, when I'm pressing the button, is because it doesn't matter what the entire Twitter sphere thinks. It matters what the other 11 dudes in my league think. And if you could have seen some of the offers for Nook. So the reason I wanted to bring this up and know that by all accounts this is not a trade that you should make is because there is no point in me fielding. I mean, I could maybe even compete this year, even though I'm trying to sell Baldwin. But now I can field a lineup now because I have 3 startable players instead of 1.
That just sounds to me like you're setting yourself up for even further setbacks in the future. I just keep Nuke.
Why? They're both young. I mean,
Hopkins, and take the 101 next year and see what you got. You know, that's
I guess
that's
the problem is Nuke may win you a week if he can actually field a lineup. And if you win that one game and you fall to the 102, which the gap from 101 to 102, the 101 to 102, the gap isn't going to be the same as it is like this year.
No.
But I'm just saying, like, if that were to happen this year and he won that one extra game because of Nuke, he's going to be kicking himself. For
That's true. That's true as well. I didn't even think of that.
But I'm a bitter guy. I try to sell people, but honestly, most of the players I have, they'll retire on my team because I'd rather just have them retire on my team, even if I'm not competitive. And it sounds silly, but I'm with you. If I can't get the value I want for an Antonio Brown, even if my team's not going to be competitive for the next 3-4 years, I'm still keeping him until I get the value I want, or else he's going to retire.
That's the point I'm at, because like I might be being stubborn here, but I'm not going to help these guys by giving them Antonio Brown for half of his value. I'm not going to do it. You want him, come get him, but I'm not going to help your team just to make mine worse and improve my draft capital. There is a fine line where I will sell for loss and just selling for pennies.
I'll hear you on that, but I would not consider any of those players pennies. And I also feel like that let me not lose this entire year and not go full rebuild, which I don't think I will ever do. I can't stand rebuilding, which is what I would have to do by watching my team lose all year and then getting the 101 next year and then waiting maybe one more year, selling a bunch of these guys for first. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I
don't
want to go full rebuild. Your trade is much better than the that trade I would accept that trade for Antonio Brown at this point from the offers I got. I can't even explain how bad the offers I get for Antonio Brown are in this league.
But I consider Hopkins a way better hold than, I mean, he's
the years take the year, sure, yeah.
Antonio Brown is still my wide receiver 3 in Dynasty.
Same. All right, guys,
there is a gap.
Let's jump into our number ones for next year. Give us your pitch. We'll power around these. We got QB first. Who had QB?
I did, but I bet $5 that Jacob takes Royce Freeman here.
What?
All right.
No way.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, no, I'm just gonna go QB1 overall. Russell Wilson, pure passing volume in an offense on a team where the defense is not good anymore. They're going to be on the field a lot, and they're going to rely on them to score a lot of points. They finally have a little bit of a running game with Rashad Penny. They have an improved offensive line, hopefully, fingers crossed. And he's got that rushing upside. He'll score with his legs. I love Doug Baldwin also as a play, but my QB1 overall is Russell Wilson.
All right, who's got running back? Jacob.
I got running backs. I'm gonna go with the guy who was on pace to be the running back 1 last year before he got suspended, and Ezekiel Elliott.
Okay.
I think the post Dez, post Witten era in Dallas is going to create. I think it's going to create a target void. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Ezekiel Elliott make the same kind of PPR leap that Gurley made last year, as far as you see that significant increase in his receiving production. And I think that's going to put him over the top, and they're going to feed him all year. That's going to be Dallas's game. So
if they want to win, they better.
Yep.
They're not.
I think that's the easy pick, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think David Johnson's the other one I was thinking of, but Zeke at this point, you almost have to. That offense sucks.
Well, DJ for the same reason, except for DJ's much better in the receiving game.
He's done it before.
Right. All right, so I've got wide receiver, right? So I'll go ahead with wide receiver. I'm going to actually go with Michael Thomas, wide receiver 1 next year. All right, for one, you're missing 4 games with Ingram, and I'm not so sure that Ingram's going to regain the same role when he comes back. He's going to be a free agent after next year anyways. So if the offense can roll without him, I'm not so sure he demands the same volume when he gets back anyways. So to me, that means that we're actually going to see Drew Brees throw the ball again. We'll have Alvin Kamara. We'll see what Adrian Peterson when they bring him back. So anyways, we'll actually see the Saints passing volume. They're going for the Super Bowl. This is probably Brees' last chance at winning the championship. I think Michael Thomas is going to see volume he has not seen yet. He took a huge jump last year, so I like Michael Thomas to be the number 1 scoring wide receiver next year.
Hot take.
And that's Cody next for tight end.
So I feel like the obvious answer is Gronk, but okay. Adam said he was giving away imaginary points for creativity, and I got all those points. So I'm going to go Ertz.
Ooh, I was going to take Ertz. Good idea.
I feel like there's only 3 legitimate answers here, but I'll go Ertz. I think he looked to be like the most consistent target with Wentz. And I think that connection is going to start back up as soon as they get back on the field together, and I think it's going to be Ertz as a tight end 1 this year.
No worries with Goddard coming in or what?
No, because, I mean, the only time he's going to be – he's the Burton replacement.
Right.
So the only time you're going to put the check next to Goddard in your lineup is whenever Ertz is hurt.
And he does have concussion problems, which does scare me a little bit. But in the leagues I have Ertz, I have Goddard anyway. I just wanted to make sure to shore that up because Ertz does have some injury problems in his career. And he's a little on the older side. I think he's 27.
Yeah, I think
his
you're right.
Contract is starting to get to the point where he's going to be making like $7.5 million starting next year, I think. So if Goddard comes in, plays well, Ertz may end up on a new team if he gets traded, and then you got to deal with that. But as far as 2018, I really do like Ertz too in that offense.
And thanks for not taking Evan Ingram. I was going to have a conniption if I had to hear that.
Never.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap us up. We're going to go back through. If you can remember the order we did earlier, that'd be great to put out your Twitter handles. If not, just talk over each other. I'm at DHH_Adam. I really appreciate everybody joining us. Episode 2. We're going to get real big into this when the season comes around. Those Saturday nights when you're itching for football, it's going to be a blast.
I am at C. Kutzer.
And I'm at FF Ski Bum. Thanks a lot for having me, guys. This is going to be a fun little thing to have, just like a little writer's hour or whatever we have to talk about, whether it's articles coming up or if we just do mock drafts and stuff like this. It's cool. So thanks a lot.
It'll be fun.
Thanks for putting this together, guys. I really appreciate it.
For sure.
We appreciate you guys coming on. This is going to be a lot of fun. We'll be talking all kinds of different stuff. We'll be helping with lineups on Saturdays, trades, just about anything people want to see, really. I'm at the Swoboda, DHH. That's SVO for those who don't know how to spell it.
I always want to say like Scoovioba or like I want to like say like Scooby. I always want to be like something like I don't know why. I just want to like Scooby. I feel like
we
it's
overthink
Scooby,
it.
it's not.
Everybody gets it wrong. I've never heard one person pronounce it right on their first try, except Salito. Shouts out to Salito of Falafel House.
Shouts.
He came up. I was like, "Can anybody pronounce my name on the first try?" And he came up. He's like, "Swoboda." I was like, "That's pretty good, man. How'd you know that?" Like, man, I watch hockey, and I was like, "Oh, okay," because it's Russian, Czech, Eastern European, and a lot of those crazy people play hockey, so it made sense. But yeah, nobody gets it right. Most people call me something stupid like soda vodka or something. Shouts out to Chris Hopper for that one.
And that's gonna do it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.